טוב, ומנעים של אחים גם יחד. Let's do that again. הנה מה טוב, ומנעים של אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, ומנעים של אחים גם יחד.
How good it is, how good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is to be together on this day.
how good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is to be together on this day.
Shalom Aleichem,
Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum.
how good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is to be together on
this day. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it is,
how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine ma tov, u'manayim shel achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, u'manayim shel achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Jim Kaplan. I'm pleased to lead worship tonight as Shaliach Tzibur, an emissary of our congregation. I'm joined by Leslie Zucker, our music director, by Warren Sickle, our wind section, and Larry Meyer, our rhythm section, and by our technical team. Thank you to the BOW Committee for bringing us beyond our walls. We are looking for more digital docents and volunteers to learn how to run our online worship streaming. If this sounds like a mitzvah that would interest you, please contact the office. If you are having technical issues with our streaming worship tonight, please text your phone number to our technical assistance line, TAL, at 913-303-1134, and a digital docent will will help you. For those here with us tonight, the prayer pages I call are the page numbers in blue in the curly brackets, actually square brackets. And respecting our atmosphere of worship, please silence your electronic devices. Thank you. Please join Leslie in the candlelight blessing for Shabbat on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. We read together at the bottom of page 127. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in the darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We continue on page 130. We join in singing the first two lines of Psalm 95, which begin, "Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai." We greet Shabbat on page 138 with Lechato D verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. B'nei Shabbat nekavela lechato dilikat kala yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela Shamo v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el ha-meyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litchala Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela B'nei Shabbat nekavela
Likrat Shabbat lechu nilcham Ki v'kol ha'beracha Merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh v'machshava chatchila B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela Hitorari Ki vayorech kumi Shir daveri kavod Adonai alayik nigla Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela Shabbat nekavela. One more time, you can turn around.
Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat nekavela Lechado dilikat kala Yalala 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 B'nei Shabbat
nekavela.
Page 145 at the bottom. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. Page 149. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema. Shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart. Shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down. And when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be a symbol between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it's eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha, page 158.
Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha Neder B'Kodesh,
Nora Tehilot,
Osef Eleh, Osef Eleh,
Malchut Tekara Uvanecha, Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe Miriam, Zeli, Anu V'Yameru, Anayim Loch, Le'olam Va'ed. Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai,
Micha Mocha Neder B'Kodesh,
Nora Tehilot,
Osef Eleh, Osef Eleh, Osef Eleh.
page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת וינפש, שבת שבת וינפש. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imaot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye metim ata Rab L'Hoshiach, Ma'ashiv haruach ha'morid haGashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot umido melach, melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua, v'neman atah lachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu hasela, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. say, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'amcha Yisrael, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'amcha Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Shehotecha levadecha, ve'yiranavu. Page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulachana lehodot. Tasim le'olam, Shalom Ra'o Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Ki atah melech Adon, b'chol ha'shalom, Ki atah melech Adon, b'chol ha'shalom, Shalom Ra'o Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Ra'o Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, V'tov le'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael, bechol עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. Shalom Ra'o Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Ra'o Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam, Tasim le'olam. We continue reading silently to page 180, adding the prayers that are in our hearts. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. Elohim Tzoy Shabim Yirmah, Svatay Medaber Mirma, Elim Kalalai, Nafshi Tidom, Nafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tia, Elohim, Elohim Tzoy Shabim Yirmah, Svatay Medaber Mirma, Elim Kalalai, Nafshi Tidom, Nafshi Ke'afar Lakol Tia, Elohim, We offer a prayer for those in captivity. May the one who blessed Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, Yaakov and Leah and Rachel, bless, watch, and guard the captives, men, women, and young children, among others of the house of Israel who are situated in distress and in captivity. Because of the congregations praying for them, may Adonai grant mercy upon them, take them out from darkness and gloom, break their chains, redeem them from their ordeals, and return them quickly to the comfort of their families. Let the verse be fulfilled, and God's ransom shall return, and come with shouting to Zion, crowned with joy everlasting. They shall attain joy and gladness, while sorrow and sighing flee. And let us say, Amen. The Mishaberach prayer asks for healing. In your handout, you'll find a list of some who need our prayers of healing, be it emotional, spiritual, or physical. The list is also linked in the comments section online. If you're with us online and have additional names to add, please type them in the comments section now so we may include them in our prayers. For those here with us, we offer an opportunity to identify others who may need our prayers. The words to the Mishaberach are on page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, I would like to invite up the CBT President, Larry Meyer, to the bima for a few words. As many as you wish.
Be up here, I thought.
No, either way.
Oh boy, the big boy table. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Quick announcement, just in time for Veterans Day. Big announcement from our favorite affordable housing nonprofit, Tikkun KC. I'd like to announce that we have partnered with an organization called Footprints, whose one of their directors is our own Andy Asher, Beth Torah member. And essentially, Footprints is a nonprofit that helps homeless veterans and all the support that goes around them, primarily trying to get them into housing of some kind and then moving them into onto their lives. So Tikkun has partnered with Footprints, and our first project we're doing together is a building that we've been working on for some time on 27th and Van Brunt. And after a robust Beth Torah workday on December 3rd, on December 8th, Footprints, the Veterans Administration, Restart, Save Inc., and a number of other agencies will be down to preview the building and help facilitate moving in a whole building full of veterans. So big news, and I just wanted to share that, and it fits in with, I keep wanting to say Labor Day. It fits in nice with Veterans Day, so it's a Veterans Day surprise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
And if you didn't have time to get the QR code to sign up on this, it's also on the slide deck that is floating around out there in the Ulam.
At this time, if you're so moved at home, please share a special simcha, a joy from this past week, by typing your simcha in the comments line. It may include birthday, anniversary, good news, or an accomplishment of any kind. For those of you who are here in person, we invite you to join us here at the Simcha microphone. Please state your name and share your Simcha with us, and please refrain from touching the microphone. It's very sensitive. Don't forget your name.
Don't forget my name.
Yes.
I hope everybody knows my name is Carol. I have two Simchas to share. One of them was last Saturday night. I went with my friend to see The Sound of Music, and we ate at True Foods on the plaza. And unbeknownst to me, they removed the elevator from the parking garage, and my friend uses a walker. So we were very pleased trying to get down the stairs that people rushed to help us. One was carrying the walker, and somebody else was making sure that she didn't fall. And it was just wonderful, and we had dinner, and afterwards, the server came up and told us that someone had paid for our dinner. And it was just a complete surprise, and we weren't allowed to find out who had done this wonderful thing. And so we were late, so we went and used valet parking, and they treated us like royalty. It was just fabulous all the way through. And then tonight, my friend Jackie called up and said she was hungry, so we went to Mediterranean Taste, and I thought we had lots of time because we were there around 5, and it took us until 6:30 to leave. We were eating so much, we were like pigs. Oh, not pigs,
Yeah, not the cows.
But anyway, that's why we were a couple minutes late, but it was so much fun having that feast.
So I'm Kelly, and this is Lita, and Lita wants to make mention of her brother Ari's second birthday that was this week.
Happy birthday, Ari.
Happy birthday.
So, Abraham and Sarah were the first. They left their family and started what became a new nation and a new way of life. Fortunately, thanks to their foundation, we have generation after generation of teachings and customs passed down to us. So this generated this little story. Little Yitzchak and his family were having dinner at Bubby's house. Everyone was seated around the table as the food was being served. When Yitzchak received his plate, he started eating right away. "Yitzchak, please, wait until we say our blessing," said his mother. "I don't have to," the boy replied. "Of course you do," the mother insisted. "We always say a prayer before eating at our house." "That's at our house," Yitzhak explained, "but this is Bubby's house, and she knows how to cook." Listen to your ancestors in Torah and whenever the opportunity presents itself in life. We now gather all the simchas you have shared, which are wonderful, as I offer this prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we join in the happiness of all who mark the varied simchas and blessings they have shared. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. As we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community, we join together in song as we mark this sacred occasion. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. We continue on page 379 with a prayer for the new month. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu. Please join with me in the middle. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our heart are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Kislev Yehiyeh Bayom Sheni. The new month of Kislev will begin on Monday. Thank you. This Shabbat, we'll read from Parsha Chaye Sarah, literally the life of Sarah. So what is this Parsha about? The first sentence translates as, Sarah's lifetime was 127 years, the years of Sarah's life. Abraham mourned and wept and bought a cave to have a plot of ground in which he could bury his wife. Toward the end of the Parsha, we read that Abraham breathed his last and died at a good age, old and satisfied, and he was gathered to his people. After his 175 years of life ended, his sons Isaac and Ishmael bury him with Sarah. Isaac is blessed by God. Ishmael has 12 sons, each of whom become chieftains of a tribe, and then Ishmael dies at 137 years old. So it doesn't really sound much like the Parsha is the life of Sarah, Chaye Sarah, nor does it seem like the life of Abraham, since many of his verses deal mostly with his death. In fact, the very lives of Abraham and Sarah contain multiple paradoxes, and if there's one rule about grappling with Torah, it's that where there seems to be a paradoxical conflict, a clash of ideas, that's often where the message for our lives is hidden. Rashi inspects the first line of the Torah. Sarah's lifetime was 127 years, the years of Sarah's life, and he's struck by the repetition of the word years. He concludes that the word years is repeated without specifying a number the second time to indicate that all of her lives were equally good, all of her years were equally good. This seems a fitting blessing for our first matriarch, and it would be nice if every year was equally good, but how can that be? As she travels with Abraham, twice in her search for a home, first in Egypt and then in Gerar, Abraham persuades her to say she is his sister, not his wife, and to join two different royal harems so they will both survive in a foreign land. Presumably her degradation and the uncertainty of her time in the harem had to make all those years rather stressful and unpleasant. Yet Rashi contends all of her years were equally good. Then there are the years when, despite God's repeated promise of many children, as many as the grains of sand or the stars in the sky, she remains infertile into her 90s. How can she be a matriarch of a great nation? And then there's the time that she persuades Abraham to have a child with her handmaid, a decision that subsequently causes such emotional strife for Sarah that Abraham banishes that same handmaid, Hagar, and the subsequent son Ishmael, and forces them to leave. How could this life of stress, uncertainty, and dashed hopes be viewed as years that were all good? Similarly, the text is confusing as it tells us about the life of Abraham. We read that right after Abraham purchased a burial plot for Sarah, that Abraham was old, well advanced in years, and God had blessed Abraham with everything. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs points out that 7 times we read that God promised Abraham the land of Canaan. However, when Sarah dies, Abraham did not even own a plot of land in which she could be buried, and he goes on an elaborate and humiliating negotiation with the Hittites to buy a plot. Ultimately, he pays an inflated value, 400 pieces of silver, a price negotiated to overcome the rule that strangers could not buy land from the Hittites. God had promised the entire land of Canaan, but that promise was not realized in a timely fashion. Torah tells us that Abraham breathed his last and died at a good age, old and satisfied. But how can this be? He was promised he'd be a good nation, the father of many nations, and he would inherit the land, but none of these promises were fulfilled in his lifetime. So how could he pass serenely satisfied with so little fulfillment, yet evident? To explain this paradox, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs asks us to consider the words of philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who believed that one who has a why in life can bear almost any how. One who has a why in life can bear almost any how. Perhaps this helps us understand the message in Abraham and Sarah's serenity in death and reflection on their good years, when in fact we read what seems to be quite a tortuous path. Abraham and Sarah were the supreme historic examples of what it means to have a why in life. Their lives together began with a call from God to uproot their settled existence, leave their families, and head out for a destination that had yet to be defined for them. They had to go live in a land where they were strangers, give up any security that they had at home, and simply believe that by living standards of justice and righteousness, they would be taking the first step to establishing a nation. As a couple, they could create a nation, a land, a faith, a way of life that would be a blessing to humankind. When we read that Abraham ended life old and satisfied, and that God blessed him with everything, or when Rashi points out that all of Sarah's years were equally good to her, we're being shown that there's a serenity in the face of death that comes from tranquility in the face of life. Abraham and Sarah each knew that everything that happened to them, the how of their lives, were shaped by the journey that God set out for them. Their journey and following what God sent their way provided a why for them, and having a why in their lives gave them serenity. We know that Abraham and Sarah began an entirely new nation with an entirely new way of life, but they never got to see the nations, the promised land, the fruition of their faith and their raison d'etre, their why. How could they have faith in the outcome of their deeds? A Chinese proverb taught by the sage Lao Tzu is that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Judaism adds to that, it's not for you to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. We have to plant some trees, knowing that we will not ultimately be there to harvest their fruit or enjoy their shade. God said of Abraham, I've chosen him so he'll direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of Adonai by doing what is right and just. We learn from Torah that Abraham did not need to see all the land in the Jewish hands, nor did he need to witness the Jewish people become a nation. He derived satisfaction in life by taking the first step, beginning the task, and ensuring that his children and their children would continue that task. We learn from Abraham and Sarah that to be happy does not necessarily mean that you have everything you want or everything you were promised. It simply means that you've done what you were called to do, to have made a beginning, and then to have passed the baton to the next generation. It's said the righteous, even in death, are regarded as though they are still alive, because the righteous leave a living trace in those who come after them. But Abraham and Sarah were the beginning, so how can that behavior be relevant now? Torah is trying to teach us that even today, although God does not speak to us directly to give us our tasks, as it was for Abraham and Sarah, we still need to find the actions that we can take that will favorably benefit those who come after us. That piece of trash that we pick up, that dripping faucet we turn off, or better yet, the dripping faucet that we teach our children to turn off, is like the actions of Abraham and Sarah. It has no visible payback during our day, and yet it's a first step, critical to the future of the world. Abraham and Sarah died satisfied. They did not get to see the nation they created, nor did they really need to. Their faith was so strong that they had made their lives count, that they were certain the continuum they created would be for good. In this parsha, there are cautionary messages that Abraham and Sarah show us as well. God promises, but we have to act. God promised Abraham the land of Canaan, but Abraham had to buy the first piece of land. God promised Abraham many descendants, but in this parsha we read of the great lengths Abraham went through to make sure that his son Isaac had a fitting wife, Rebekah, and that they were married before Abraham's death, assuring the covenant with God that Abraham had established would be carried on. Second, despite all the promises, God does not and will not do it alone. We read earlier in Torah that God saved Noah, but Noah had to build the ark. God gave the land of Canaan to Abraham and his descendants, but Israel has had to battle to keep it even to this day. God can give us the strength to act, but we must do God's deed. And finally, we learn that what changes our world, what creates the future, is not what God does for us, but what we do for God. In assembling our worship service tonight, we added some prayers that recognize Veterans Day and that recognize the tragic conditions that have resulted from the war between Israel and her surrounding countries. There's a lot to pray for, and there are many in emotional and physical pain. These three lessons from Torah, to reiterate, were God promises, but we have to act. Despite all the promises, God does not and will not do it alone. And what creates the future is not what God does for us, but what we do for God. As it relates to the hostages, to the victims of war, and to the casualties of the battles, our action triad, in keeping with those lessons, is that we must educate ourselves, we must participate in supportive, constructive gatherings, and we must donate as we are able. For example, the Kansas City Federation Israel Emergency Fund has collected over $2.6 million in aid, none of which goes to weapons or bloodshed. Shabbat Shalom. May we have a Shabbat of peace. Ken Yiratzon. The rabbis of the 14th century added the Aleinu to the closing of each worship service to end the service on a hopeful note. No matter what our days are like now, our best days still lie ahead. The Aleinu is on page 586 and 591. Please rise if you're able. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם אלוקינו כהם, וגור עלינו כל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We turn our thoughts to our veterans on this Veterans Day Shabbat weekend as we offer the following prayer. Compassionate God, source of mercy, we pay tribute to those who have served our country and express our gratitude for their courage and selflessness, both those among us today and those of generations past. This nation, built by those born of this soil and by those who have come here from all corners of the earth, is on a continual journey toward its destiny. May we never let down those who have served in defense of our country and never forget their selfless acts of dedication. May we uphold the values of freedom, of the inherent dignity of every human being, by our own right conduct and by the kindness and tolerance we show one another. May we lead the world by example and become, in the words of Isaiah, a light to the nations. Then will the labors and sacrifices of these veterans be honored, not in words alone, but by our deeds. And let us say, Amen. The Medal of Honor is the United States Armed Forces' highest military decoration and is awarded to recognize American soldiers, sailors, Marines, Air Force Guardians, and Coast Guard who have distinguished themselves by acts of valor. This Veterans Day, we honor all veterans who have served our country, and at this time we specifically honor those Jewish recipients of the U.S. Medal of Honor who have served and have passed away. In the Civil War, Abraham Cohen, Leopold Karpeles, Benjamin Levy, David Orbansky. In India and Haiti, Simon Schuler, Samuel Margolis. In World War I, Sidney Gumpertz, Benjamin Kaufman, William Savelson, William Semin. In World War II, Isidore S. Jackman, Ben L. Solomon, Raymond Zussman. In Korea, Tibor Rubin, Leonard M. Kravitz. In Vietnam, Jack H. Jacobs, John Levitow. And in Afghanistan, Christopher Andrew Seelies. This week, we also remember those who have died in the current fighting between Israel and her surrounding neighbors, and those from our CBT community, including those whose family is in the Shloshim period, Michelle Pavin, a Beth Torah member. And we recall those whose yortzites occurred this week: Jeffrey Stephen Blum, Margaret Louise Chase, Iola Cohen, Isidore Cohen, Sasha Paris Cohen, Rose Ellis, Harriet Garonsky, Margaret Gersh, Bertha Goldstein, Helen F. Canyon, Milton Lewis, father of Stu Lewis, Eugene Rubin, Gerald Sherman, Nathan Weiner, and Sam Zavalo. If you are here to say Kaddish for someone whose name I did not read, please share the names so we may include them in our prayers. We take a moment of silent reflection in their honor. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Kaddish Yatom is on page 598. We stand as a community to support those in mourning. If it is your custom to remain seated, please feel free to do so. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mavrach le'olam u'me'el maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav,
hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol I would like to say thank you to Larry and Warren for supporting our music and to Leslie for leading our worship and music this evening.
And thank you to Scott Franklin, our greeter at the door, and to Kevin Romano, who was our usher and handed out books this evening.
Our Shabbat celebrations continue tomorrow with Sichat Shabbat at 9 a.m., followed by Shabbat morning worship at 10:30 in our sanctuary. Our Sichat topic this week is a Veterans Day look at Jews in the military, 1776 to the present. It's a long time.
Our Hanukkah backdrop has returned. Do you need photos for this year's Hanukkah cards or get a jump on 5785? We've got you covered. This Sunday, November 12th, we will have a photographer at CBT during religious school hours. The school families are going to have their photos taken at 10:10, but if you would like to come and have your photo taken by somebody else, we invite you to come starting at about 10:30. Otherwise, the backdrop will be up through December 14th. You can come anytime that the office hours are open except Tuesday, November 14th. We have an event in the Ulam. But other than that, if we're here and open, you can come take your picture.
Sunday is also the next stage of the Good Faith Network's social justice cycle. We are proud to once again host the Community Problems Assembly. Please join us at 3:30, that's 3:30 on Sunday. Carpooling is encouraged. There will be a lot of people here.
And our next bait is November 17th. Elizabeth Applebaum will lead us through Jewish themes in Broadway music. She'll be playing melodies on the flute accompanied by Susie Adams, and we do appreciate if you RSVP if you're planning to be here, so we make sure we have enough food for dinner.
And there is so much more going on. There are 2 whole slides. We encourage you to participate in our CBT communities online, CBT community activities. You are the community that we need. I'll do the last one. After our closing song, please join us in the Ulam for Kiddush and Oneg. Our closing song is Lo Yisagoi, the words, from Isaiah, the prophet, and the words are on the screen at my left. Please rise if you're able. Goy el goy Erev, lo yimadu milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy Erev, lo yimadu milchama. We can choose darkness or we can choose light. We can choose weapons, or we can choose life. We can choose darkness, or we can choose light. We can choose weapons, or we can choose life. Lay down our swords. I don't want to learn more no more. Lay down our swords. Shabbat Shalom.
Take care of each other out there.